Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to MTG Tutor. This is our very first inaugural episode of Top Tier Tutor, where we are going to talk about all things Magic. In this podcast, you will find all sorts of topics from us talking about decks and things that we enjoy in Magic and everything else. But today, we are going to focus on the brand new Karlov Manor Recon Commander decks, where the entire set is focused on mystery, clues, and murder. We're doing a quick rundown of these decks. Keep an eye out because here very soon we are going to have content out where we are going to play these precons against each other. We're going to see which deck comes out on top. So I am Tyler. I'm here with my co-hosts. We've got Jordan and Kit. Say hello, Jordan and Kit.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Jordan. Hi, Jordan. How are things going, Kit?
Hi, Jordan.
How's things going, Tyler?
It's going
Pretty good.
Yep. New Commander stuff out.
These new decks.
Yeah. I'm excited as well because one of the decks that I'm actually looking forward to, I'm not gonna lie, I was not looking forward to a lot with these Karlov Manor decks, but there are a few and there's some good cards in these decks. I am looking forward, however, to this Revenant Recon deck. My favorite pick from these decks, the Tutor deck, who will be commandeered, led. It will be led by Mirko Obsessive Theorist. Just real quick with this commander, he is a 1/3 with Flying Vigilance, and whenever you surveil, put a 1/1 counter on him. At the beginning of your end step, you may return target creature card with power less than Mirko's from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. What do you think about this deck, Kit?
I think the strong one. It has really good reprints. The mirror is just a really good color combo, and it's fun.
Some
and
would say the
his
best.
twist, some would, and with his ability, he can get very big, and commander damage is a real threat, especially with these colors. Unblockable, just doing damage and being able to win. Something that definitely can come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while since I've seen a deck that really does a good job of doing that commander damage. So it'll be kind of scary to go against. But I have to say that this deck is probably the second best deck. You know, because in my opinion, the best deck is the Deep Blue Sea, and it's not even close in my opinion. So I think with a few adjustments, this deck could be very powerful. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels this way. I've gone to a couple game stores to try to, talk to the game store owners, and they have all said that those decks were the first to sell out. This deck is a Bant deck, so it's a green, white, blue, and the commander is Morska, Undersea Sleuth. So a couple things about this card. It's a legendary creature. You have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of your upkeep, you investigate, and whenever you draw your second card each turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Morska Undersea Sleuth. So this deck is all about making clue tokens and just drawing. So I really think this deck has a lot of really cool advantages and potentials to just get out of control really quickly. A couple strengths of this card, or of this deck, you can just pump up your creatures and get that draw advantage. Some negatives about this deck, I do feel like the mana generation of it isn't as great. There's a lot of bounce lands, which can kind of set you back. And then I feel like there should be some more counterspell cards into it.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
No, I would agree. Counterspells with blue, you need at least 3 in there to really make it worthwhile, I think. And that's pretty low for most blue decks anyways.
Yeah, I do see the Deep Blue Sea deck as being a strong deck for sure. I'm not necessarily worried about what were you saying? Did you say tokens? I don't remember what you said with that.
The 2 tokens, yes.
Yeah, with tokens, the drawing is scary. The scarier thing is Coma. Isn't Coma in this deck?
Coma is, yeah. It's one of a few reprints. There's Adrix and Nev, the Twin Casters, and Coma, Cosmos, Serpent, which are 2 reprints that are very powerful in this deck for sure.
Yeah, Coma is in this deck, and Coma is just one of those cards where as soon as Coma hits the battlefield, you just have to remove him. If Coma is allowed to stay on the battlefield, that is a win con for this deck. An interesting point to note as well, though, is that Morska also cares about getting big. Every time you draw your second card, he gets a counter on him as well. So that's 2 decks out of these precons that are looking at a way of winning by commander damage, which is pretty neat. A lot of times I feel like commander decks are built with the objective of winning in other ways. And so it is pretty neat to see that. Another one of these decks that kind of you could win with commander damage simply because of the way the mechanics function is the Blame Game deck.
True.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the blame game. I mean, it's not going to be something that I think it's. Let me pull it up real quick. Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser. She's a great card. 4 mana. She's Boros. She has Vigilance, and then whenever she attacks, you get to actually suspect target creature, which is goading all suspected creatures, which makes them have basically menace, and then they're goaded. And then whenever one or more creature an opponent controls deals combat damage to one or more of your opponents, you and the controller of that creature each draw a card. So drawing cards similar to the Bant deck, but goading, it's always one of those mechanics that really works well with a group, because you start picking fights and you aren't in that fight. So you can kind of manipulate the battlefield. Her ability isn't bad. I don't know if she's going to be big enough to really win, but she can definitely do a lot of mean things. That's for sure.
Yeah, true. I was just saying, there is a lot of incentive to attack with her, where every time you attack, you get to suspect a target creature. It doesn't even have to be a creature that on the board of the player you're attacking. You can suspect any creature on the board. And so, like I said, it's just, while she's not necessarily going to turn into this big, huge monster that might one-shot someone, you are definitely incentivized to attack with your commander as long as she's on the field.
Yeah. I'm a little bummed that she's 4 mana cost when all the other ones are a lot less. Well, not a lot less, but 3 mana cost or 2 mana cost for the commanders. So that's my kind of con for this deck specifically. I love very little mana cost commanders. Makes it easy to keep on recasting them. And for her, she's going to be recasted probably a lot, because the amount of times you're attacking and getting blocked.
Yeah, it would probably be a good idea to consider throwing some equipment into this deck, things that are going to protect your commander, maybe things that can give it indestructible or protection from other colors, things like that. But I agree with you. I actually think that she could be a 2 CMC commander with a 2/3 with her abilities. But the cheapest commander of all of these is in the Deadly Disguise deck, and that's Koust, Eyes of the Glade, which is a 2/2 for a red or a white and a green, which I don't know what color combo that is, red, white, and green. Naya. It is whenever a creature you control that was turned face up this turn deals combat damage, draw a card. And you can tap your commander to turn a target face down attacking creature you control face up. So I have never played anything that utilizes these mechanics. The closest thing that I have is Ugin in my Eldrazi deck, which basically manifests creatures.
Yeah, that commander, I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit. You're like, I'm putting this card face down and into the defense position. But I think that this deck had some interesting mechanics, like you're saying. And Naya is always, I really like Naya a lot. In the Ixalan deck, or the Ixalan set, the Naya color has the dinosaurs. Love dinosaurs, big stumpy bad guys that just chew their way through everything. I think that when we were looking at this, though, this one has potential to be very strong. And looking at MTG Goldfish, it's actually coming out more than the Deep Blue Sea, which is kind of shocking because it was flipped last time. Blame Games at 68, and the Revenant Recon's at the highest, 74.58. It's the most expensive right now out of the four.
Yeah. I know that when MTG Goldfish also play tested the pre-con commanders, the Revenant Recon deck actually kind of destroyed the other decks. I think in the end it came down actually to the Deadly Disguise deck and the Revenant Recon deck. Those were the two that were remaining. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Revenant Recon deck is the best, because a lot can happen in a commander game. A lot can go your way or not go your way. Sometimes you might win with a deck that you might lose with in the next game. But it is kind of interesting to see those cards. I think that does have a little bit to do with reprint values. I believe that Kit, you are our card market specialist, and I believe that you are even saying that Revenant Recon looks like it would hold the most value to you long term.
Oh yeah, for me in investing, if I was trying to get staple black cards, or even I think there's maybe one or two blue cards actually in here that are pretty decent, but that would be the deck I would buy. It just has cards that have been reprinted, more so recently, so prices have gone down and dropped. But I mean, if time is to be repeated, these aren't going to be printed for a while, and then prices will just go back up again. Yeah. So it's just probably the best deck if you're looking for something to maybe buy, keep sealed, throw on a shelf for a couple of years, and probably be able to resell for double the price at least.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking that maybe we could say one thing that we're kind of excited about just from, in general, this Murders at Karlov Manor set. It might not necessarily be something in the commanders, but like, for example, one of the things that I'm pretty excited for that I like are the I was just looking at one, like the enchantments that are the cases. Excuse me. I think that those are going to be a very, very fun card that I have not seen so far, where you are actually playing an enchantment that you have to solve in order to get the final reward of the enchantment. It's very similar in my mind to when they released the dungeons and you had to traverse the dungeon. I could very much see enjoying a commander game with just the intent of completing a case. That's what I'm looking forward to from the Karlov Manor stuff. Jordan, what are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to some of these reprints. I mean, we talked about a few of these cards. I think that they're very strong cards, and historically they go for quite a bit, but you can get them in these decks and put them into other decks that you may have. Like we talked about in the Deep Blue Sea, a few of those with the Adrix and Nev Twin Casters, Cosmos Serpent. In the Revenant Recon, you have Rise of the Dark Realms, which is a pretty cool card. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. That's a staple if you have, a zombie deck or any sort of deck that really relies on bringing creatures back from the grave. Animate Dead. And then on the Blame game, you also have the Trouble in Pairs, which is going to be an interesting card. Right now, it's according to MTG Goldfish, it's going for $18 for just that one card. So I think there's a lot of value, a lot of great cards in here that you can get if you buy the decks, and then you can supplement them into other decks if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I would agree. There's a lot of good cards that are being reprinted, and they've been doing that a little bit more commonly in the recent sets, which is good. Good for consumers and not so good for collectors, but that's fine. I mean, it kind of goes up and down. But as far as like this set, the decks I'm interested to see played, as much as I'm not a fan of Deadly Disguise, I want to see it in action, because the morphing and manifesting, all of those type of mechanics I've never been interested in. But it would be interesting to see if that is going to be effective and if it can win. Because right now, I mean, the Dimir or Bant deck really looks like they're going to be the winners, unless someone really gets some steam behind the Blame game with that Boros colors. So beyond that, I mean, the only other card that I'm really excited for from this set is the Leyline, the new Leyline that was added in. I think it's Leyline of the Guild Pack, which is something for Wooburg, just being able to have all colors in the deck. And I only have a couple all color decks, but that would be a must-have, I think, in those type of decks.
Cool. Well, there's a lot to look forward to, definitely, with these Karlov Manor decks and with the Karlov Manor set in general. I know that the collector packs are going like crazy, because I believe there's serialized cards in these collector packs. And so I've been seeing them getting opened left and right on YouTube and from different places. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot to look forward to with these. It's a fun set, I feel like. There are some sets that are cool, some sets that are very strong. I feel like this set, this expansion, I guess you could say, is just, it's going to be one that people are going to enjoy playing. But yeah, that's kind of our thoughts on the Murders at Karlov Manor, the Commander decks. Like I said, keep an eye out. We will be playing these, and that content will be hitting our YouTube very shortly. And then we are also going to be going live with our Patreon here very soon. We did run into a little bit of a snafu getting our Patreon all set up. We've been in contact with the support team over there. But our Patreon should be live very soon. In that Patreon, you can join. You will guaranteed get cards every single week. We are going to do some Commander deck giveaways. We are going to give away one of the decks from these Karlov Manor sets, and we are going to do those exclusively to our Patreon members. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check that out. Join up there. If you like our content, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit a follow, drop us some love there, and it just helps out the channel. It's free, and yeah, let's have some fun and play some Magic.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Go for it.